My girlfriend posted a video rant. My boyfriend is so cheap, he won't take me on luxury vacations like my ex did. I commented, funny, your ex just called me asking for a loan to pay his debts. Then I booked a first-class solo trip to Bali, blocked her number, and moved out. Her angry voicemails realizing she'd been gold digging with the wrong guy when she saw my infinity pool selfies. So here I am posting this from a private villa in Ubud, Bali, watching the sunset over an infinity pool with a cold bintang in hand. Meanwhile, my Google Voice inbox keeps filling with voicemails from my ex that range from tearful apologies to creative combinations of profanity that would make a sailor blush. How did I end up here while she's back home screaming into the void? Grab a drink. This is a wild ride. I, 32M, met Amelia, 28F, at a friend's housewarming party about 14 months ago. She was gorgeous, funny, and seemed genuinely interested in my boring stories about software engineering. We hit it off immediately, exchanged numbers, and started dating a week later. The first few months were amazing. We had similar interests, the physical chemistry was off the charts, and she seemed down to earth despite having expensive taste. I noticed she often complimented my car, nothing special, just a reasonably nice Audi, asked about my job prospects, and made comments about moving up in the world together, but I didn't think much of it. Ambition is attractive, right? I'm not wealthy by any means, but I'm comfortable. I've been a senior dev for a respected tech company for the past 6 years. I live below my means in a modest apartment, drive a car I paid off years ago, and put most of my money into investments rather than flashy purchases. My parents raised me to value financial security over status symbols. Amelia, on the other hand, was all about appearances. She worked in marketing for a local company, a job she constantly described as just until something better comes along, but dressed like she made 3 times her salary. She had stories about exotic vacations, fine dining experiences, and luxury shopping sprees from before we met, all apparently funded by her ex, Marcus. Marcus this, Marcus that. I heard about this guy constantly. He took her to Paris for Valentine's Day. He surprised her with a shopping spree in Milan. He knew all the maitre d's at the best restaurants in the city. After a while, I started wondering if she was still dating him. The comments about my spending habits started small. Don't you want to live a little? When I mentioned saving for retirement. We could go somewhere nicer. When I suggested a perfectly good restaurant for date night. Marcus never minded spending money on experiences. When I balked at $900 concert tickets. I tried explaining my financial philosophy, that I preferred building long-term security over immediate gratification, but it always ended with her pouting and making me feel like I was somehow failing her by not emptying my wallet at every opportunity. Things came to a head about 6 weeks ago after I declined to book a last-minute trip to the Maldives she'd found on sale for only $7,000 per person. I suggested we could plan a nice vacation for later in the year with proper budgeting. This led to our biggest fight yet, with Amelia storming out of my apartment. The next morning, I woke up to multiple texts from friends asking if I was okay. Confused, I checked social media to discover Amelia had posted a 15-minute rant video about me on her Instagram, which had somehow gone semi-viral among our social circle. The highlights included gems like, he makes 6 figures but shops at Target. His idea of a fancy date is when Olive Garden has the endless shrimp special. I haven't seen the inside of a Ritz-Carlton since I started dating him. My ex Marcus knew how to treat a woman, flying me business class to Tokyo just because it was Tuesday. I'm dating the cheapest man in our city. Someone sent help. She didn't mention me by name, but tagged the video cheap boyfriend, and everyone we knew could obviously figure out who she was talking about. I was stunned. Not just by the public humiliation, but by the realization that after a year together, she still didn't understand or respect my values at all. She saw my financial responsibility as a character flaw rather than a strength. I sat there staring at my phone, watching her laugh about how I comparison shop for groceries like some kind of extreme couponing grandma, when a call came in from a number I didn't recognize. Hello? Hey, is this Brian? Amelia's boyfriend? Yes, this is Marcus, Amelia's ex. I nearly dropped my phone. The legendary Marcus himself. I half expected him to be calling from a yacht in Monaco. Look, this is awkward, he continued. but I'm in a tough spot financially. Amelia mentioned you work in tech and might know about some job openings. I got laid off 3 months ago and I'm having trouble making rent. As Marcus talked, a clear picture emerged. Yes, he had taken Amelia on lavish trips and bought her expensive gifts. All funded by credit cards he couldn't afford to pay off. He'd been living far beyond his means to maintain the lifestyle he thought would keep her happy. Now he was drowning in debt with a decimated credit score. When I asked how he got my number, he explained that Amelia had mentioned my company several times, and he'd found me through LinkedIn, then used a paid people search service to get my phone number. Desperation makes people do strange things, I guess. When the call ended, I sat in silence for a full minute. Then I started laughing. I couldn't stop. The absurdity of the situation hit me all at once. I opened Instagram, went to Amelia's still circulating rant video, and left a single comment. Interesting perspective. Amazing what some people consider financial stability. Just vague enough to avoid any potential issues, but pointed enough that she'd know exactly what I meant. I then set up a Google Voice number to forward her calls and texts to while preparing to block her on my primary phone. Next, I emailed my landlord giving notice on my month-to-month lease, thankfully legal with 30 days notice in my state, and opened my laptop to book a flight. 2 hours later, I had 1. A first-class ticket to Bali. I had accumulated over 300,000 points from credit card sign-up bonuses, work travel reimbursements, and strategically maximizing category bonuses over several years. 2. A reservation at a gorgeous villa with that aforementioned infinity pool. 3. A storage unit rented for my belongings. 4. A temporary mail forwarding setup. 5. A request for 3 weeks of PTO approved by my very understanding boss who had both seen the video and knew I hadn't taken a vacation in over 2 years. One of the perks of working at a tech company with flexible time-off policies. I spent the next 3 days moving my stuff into storage while ignoring the increasingly frantic texts and calls from Amelia. On the morning of my flight, I left my keys with the landlord and headed to the airport. As I settled into my first-class seat, which, again, I paid for mostly with points I'd accumulated through years of responsible credit card use, I turned my phone back on to find 37 missed calls and a voicemail from Amelia. "Brian, please call me back. I'm sorry about the video, I was just frustrated. You know, I love how responsible you are. It's one of your best qualities. Call me back so we can talk about this." I deleted the message, turned off my phone, and accepted a glass of champagne from the flight attendant. The vacation was spectacular from day one. I spent mornings hiking through rice terraces, afternoons getting $15 massages, and evenings eating incredible food for a fraction of what it would cost back home. I bought a cheap local phone with a data plan and created a new Instagram account just to document the trip. I didn't tag Amelia or mention her in any posts. I didn't need to. I only accepted follow requests from a small group of trusted friends, knowing full well that in our interconnected social media world, screenshots would make their way back to Amelia within hours. I wasn't posting for her benefit, but I wasn't naive about how information travels. My friend Alex, who had zero loyalty to Amelia after witnessing her video tirade, kept me updated on the highlights of her reactions. He wasn't doing it to stir drama. He just wanted to make sure I was aware of any potentially problematic claims she might be making about me. The voicemails started coming to my Google Voice number, which forwards to my email, about a week into the trip. "I can't believe you just left the country without telling me. Are we broken up? Is this some kind of joke? How are you affording this? You always said vacations like this were a waste of money. Who is that girl in the background of your temple photo? Are you already with someone else?" It was a random tourist who happened to be in the shot. "You planned this all along, didn't you? You pretended to be cheap while secretly having all this money. What kind of sick game are you playing?" The best one came after I posted a photo of myself lounging by the infinity pool, drink in hand, with the caption, "Best investment I've made in years." The voicemail was almost unintelligible through her rage. "You said the Maldives was too expensive, but you're in a private villa with an infinity pool? You lying, manipulative, crib-string ex. I showed everyone how cheap you were, and now I look like an idiot." I nearly fell into the pool laughing. Here's the thing Amelia never understood. I wasn't cheap. I was selective. I didn't mind spending money on things I valued. What I refused to do was drain my bank account trying to impress others or fund a lifestyle I couldn't sustain. The Bali villa? $120 a night, less than a Marriott in our hometown. The incredible seafood dinner at a beachfront restaurant, $25 including drinks. The 90-minute Balinese massage, $18 plus tip. I wasn't wealthy by conventional standards. I make good money as a senior software engineer, around $135K base plus bonuses and stock. But in our high cost of living city, that doesn't make me rich. I was just smart enough to go where my money had more value, rather than trying to keep up with the Joneses in one of America's most expensive cities. Meanwhile, according to my handful of trusted friends, Amelia was frantically trying to explain to everyone how she'd misunderstood my financial situation and was now dealing with the embarrassing reality that she'd publicly trashed a guy who was currently living it up in a tropical paradise. Some backstory on Amelia that I learned after all this. She grew up in a family that was all about keeping up appearances. Her parents remortgaged their house multiple times to maintain a lifestyle they couldn't afford. They took annual vacations they couldn't pay for, drove luxury cars on 84-month loans, and eventually filed for bankruptcy when the house of cards collapsed. Amelia learned from an early age that the appearance of wealth was more important than actual financial stability. The irony is that if she'd stuck with me long term, she would have eventually enjoyed the kind of financial security her parents never had. I'm on track to retire by 50. My investment portfolio grows steadily every year. I could have afforded that Maldives trip. I just chose not to spend money that way. When I returned home 3 weeks later, tanned and refreshed, I moved into a new apartment across town. I changed my phone number permanently and only shared it with trusted friends who hadn't sided with Amelia in the aftermath of her video. I heard through Alex, my unofficial information filter, that Amelia and Marcus reconnected after my comment on her video. Apparently, they're giving it another shot, though how they're funding their champagne tastes on beer budgets remains a mystery. My guess is that Capital One is currently financing their fabulous lifestyle, and Experian will be dealing with the aftermath in due time. As for me, I learned a valuable lesson about making sure a potential partner's values align with mine before getting too invested. Money philosophies aren't just about dollars and cents. They reflect deeper principles and priorities. I'm single again, but not in any rush to change that status. My new place has a decent-sized balcony where I enjoy my morning coffee while checking my investment accounts. It's not as impressive as an infinity pool in Bali, but it's mine, it's paid for, and there's no one sitting beside me calling me cheap for ordering the lunch special instead of the lobster. Sometimes the best investment you can make is in your own peace of mind. Update, 3 months later. Since many have asked for an update, here's where things stand now. Amelia's social media presence has taken an interesting turn. Her Instagram is now filled with photos of luxury experiences with Marcus that look suspiciously staged. That champagne brunch at the Ritz was actually in the hotel lobby where anyone can sit without buying anything. The weekend getaway to wine country featured the same outfit in every photo, strongly suggesting it was a day trip rather than the extended luxury stay she implied. My personal favorite was her shopping spree post that showed shopping bags from designer stores, but no actual merchandise. Classic smoke and mirrors. Meanwhile, I received an unexpected message from Marcus's sister, who found me through mutual connections. She warned me that Marcus and Amelia had been asking mutual friends about my job, salary, and whether I might be open to investing in an exciting business opportunity. Apparently, they're launching a luxury lifestyle brand and looking for investors. Consider this bullet well and truly dodged. On a positive note, that Bali trip gave me the travel bug I'd been suppressing for years. I've since used my points for trips to Portugal and Japan, staying in affordable but beautiful Airbnbs and having authentic experiences rather than manufactured luxury. Turns out my responsible financial habits translate to about 3 international trips per year while still maxing out my 401k contributions. Dating-wise, I've been seeing someone new for about a month. She's a financial advisor who nearly spat out her coffee when I told her this story on our second date. Our third date was cooking dinner at my place and setting up a spreadsheet to optimize my investment strategy. If that doesn't sound romantic to you, you're probably an Amelia. The best revenge isn't just living well, it's living well within your means.